So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some relationships to this so-called view. The relationships between classes establish the cardinality, aggregations, or inheritance connections between the classes. But before we do that, it's always a good idea regularly to save what you have. So just File, Save. And we never named this diagram before, so now that we're saving it for the first time, we have to give it a name, and we'll call it Assignment 2 Class Diagram. Say OK. So the first thing we're going to do is establish some normal one-to-one relationships between registrations and vehicles and between the classes registrations and trailers. And to do this, you can just click on the very first relationship line in the toolbar, the one right next to the class icon, like this. And to draw a relationship, you click on one of the classes, registrations, let's say, and hold the left mouse button down, and then maybe go out at a right angle and go down to vehicles, and then let up with your right mouse button. And so we've drawn one-to-one, it's automatic one-to-one because of the line that we used there. And now we have to give it some roles on both sides. And so vehicles are licensed by, so we'll do it like this. We'll say registrations identify vehicles, and vehicles are licensed by. Registrations. And that's all you have to do here, and just say OK. Now, notice that you can, if you go back into the select mode, you have to be careful. You're stuck in whatever mode for the last icon you clicked. So if you want to touch things or move things around, you have to go back up here and get in the select mode. You can move these little labels around to make them clearer. So we'll take identify and we'll put this up here right next to registrations. And we'll take our license by and we'll put them down here by vehicles. So you see what we're doing? Vehicles are licensed by registrations. Registrations identify vehicles. Okay, let's do the same thing for registrations and trailers. It's the same type of relationship. Remember, you got to push the left mouse button and hold it. Maybe go out to the left. And note the line will do crazy things. There's really not a lot you can do about it at this point. But again, we say the same thing. Registrations identify. Trailers are licensed by. And if you go back into select now, you might be able to make this a little more clear, what's going to what. And when you end up and move it around a little bit, it should look something like this. Okay, now we're going to reflect some inheritance relationships. That is, cars, trucks, and motorcycles are all types of vehicles, right? So these are objects, these are concrete objects that are instantiated or stamped out of the vehicle class. They inherit all the vehicle properties. So to do inheritance, we need this one, and again, do it the same way. Now, just a tip, you might try to start drawing it from the same point in vehicles every time. Something like this. Okay, so that's the first one. You see the default is A. We'll just leave that alone and we'll say OK. And then let's do it again. Try to start at the same point. And we're going to go straight down over the line to cars and say OK. And then one more time. Now, if it turns out weird, don't worry about it. If it looks weird, like what you see happening right now, That's just fine for the time being, because when you're done, you can get up here and go back into the select mode, and then you can try to move this thing around a little bit. But even if you can't, it's fine. You're not getting graded on how it looks. You're getting graded on whether you get all the requirements right. So when you're done and you've moved things around a little bit, made it look pretty, as I say, you might have something like this at this point. In the next video, we will continue creating associations in the form of aggregations.